Now, if you have ever watched Scarlett Moffat on TV, I know many of you have, at Gogglebox, I'm a Celebrity, various other things, you'll know that she has a very sharp wit, she's incredibly funny, and she's got a very sort of happy-go-lucky personality.
But after finding fame, she endured unrelenting abuse from online trolls, which eventually prompted her to call the Samaritans for support.
Now, thankfully, she's in a much better place and she wants to use her experience to help others, and she's become an ambassador for the charity. She's also been talking to Breakfast's Jane McCubbin.
Are you allowed bums on BBC? Are you allowed bums on BBC?
Look straight to the camera.
I can't really do serious.
Let's do a smiling.
I think people would presume that I'm super outgoing, super bubbly, happy all of the time. You do want to portray yourself as this positive, bubbly person because that makes other people happy, even if it's just for that half an hour or hour. Because when you felt sad yourself, you don't want anyone else to ever feel that way.
And you have felt really sad?
I have felt really sad.
Just a few hours in Scarlett Moffat's company and you realise she is warm, smart, kind, funny.
Queen of the Jungle is Scarlett Moffat!
A personality which saw her crowned Queen of the Jungle in 2016. But that is when life started to unravel.
When I came out of the jungle, I was on top of the world. I finally felt accepted. With all those positive things came a lot of negativity, and before long it was just consuming me. This sadness was just consuming every part of my body. I'd get a lot of trolling about the way that I looked, specifically about my weight, about being very slim. Then I got bigger and people didn't like that. People saying, I should just go and kill yourself. I shouldn't have to look at you on my TV. And I just thought, I can't do this anymore.
That's when Scarlett took action. She picked up the phone. She dialed 116 123. 6 numbers which didn't just change her life, but saved her life.
Do you remember that first voice?
Yeah, I do.
When you finally got through? And
yeah. This is going to sound really dramatic, but you do feel like it's just like hope. That's what it sounded like hope. Just hearing somebody say, like, hello, Samaritans, like, what's wrong? I felt really sad. I spoke to Samaritans, I got help from my GP, and now I'm in such a good place with my little dog and my boyfriend and my friends and family, and I just love life. I feel like I'm the old Scarlett again, the 18-year-old Scarlett that was carefree. I feel like I'm that girl again.
You're back. You're back.
Here they are, Danny and Lisa.
2 people whose mental health journey also led them to Samaritans.
My name is Lisa Nealon and I hit a real low in my life when my marriage broke down. I was a single parent and sadly because of a stammer I found that I couldn't communicate.
I'm Danny, I'm 28 years old and I was at a low ebb. I didn't want to go out and do the things I enjoyed. I found myself staying in bed quite often, just not wanting to get up, which was affecting my personal life and working life as well. It was just a very, very dark time.
While Scarlett reached out by phone, Lisa and Danny sought help by email.
But I remember ringing and just hearing this little voice of hope on the other end of the phone and going, help us. That's literally, I just remember going, help us. I remember giving a fake name because I didn't dare say my name. And then just for the first time ever having a decent night's sleep.
Just relief, I think, isn't it? Just to have that load lifted. And like the power of just that human connection when you're at your lowest is so strong, isn't it? I think that's how I felt, just relief.
Have either of you still got that first email, that first?
Yeah, definitely. Yes, the first one that I sent was on the 17th of December 2018. The first line I can see just says, "Hi, I'm having a really tough time at the moment." Like you said about the relief, to getting that off your shoulders and to be able to just have someone on the other end who would listen. And whereas obviously sometimes it's a bit more difficult to speak to family, friends.
Actually, when I told my mum and dad, like, I've spoken to the Samaritans, they were like, why didn't you come to us? But for me, it was just like, it was just being a pure stranger. I think there's something really lovely about them not knowing anything about you and you just being like, this is the issue.
One phone call, one email. That was all it took to put them on a road to recovery. Today, Lisa is a volunteer with Samaritans, and Scarlett has become an official ambassador.
Like, we've all been in such a rubbish place and like probably at the time felt like there was no escape, but we knew we wanted to escape it. And we've done that with the help of Samaritans, family and friends, everything, but we have done that. We are little legends. Everyone who's ranked Samaritans are little legends, aren't they? I don't know what I would have done if I didn't call Samaritans.
You can smile. The smile's fine.
Thank you.
Relax.
That was the first step of my journey of feeling better. I realised, no, like, you're wonderful just being you, Scarlett. That's me telling off this. I've never been in a place where I've wanted to project that much hate onto someone. So whenever I do get trolled really badly, I send them a private message and I'll give them the number for Samaritans. I'll say, are you okay? Call this number if you need help. And I would say 99% of the time, they apologise and they say, yeah, I will.
Well, huge thanks to Scarlett for talking to us and speaking to Jane. Let's also talk right now about some of those things that she talked about with Steve. He's a Samaritans listening volunteer and joins us now from Walsall. Oh, morning. Thank you so much for joining us. And I'm not sure...
It's my pleasure. Thank you
I expect you could hear what Scarlett was saying. What's it like having her as an ambassador with her own personal story for the Samaritans?
I mean, you know, and what a powerful story it is, isn't it? You know, it's just fantastic to hear the three of them really talking about their experiences. And I think one thing that I picked up on that was just absolutely brilliant was when she said that she first phoned up 116123 and spoke to a volunteer, and she said it sounded like hope. And I think that's such a powerful thing. So I think she's going to be an amazing ambassador for us. And to get people talking about mental health and help that's out there, because at the moment we still do somewhat talk about things like that in hushed tones, and I think it's fantastic if we can just, you know, be open and honest about the things that we've done, as Scarlett and Lisa and Danny just have.
So let's say somebody makes that phone call. You're on the end of the phone, aren't you? And I mean, how do you even answer it? What do you say to someone who, you know, they're calling for a particular reason, aren't they? They need help.
Well, there's an important thing about the way that we work as Samaritans. So there's a couple of things that you need to remember. One is the fact that we never talk about ourselves. So that sort of alleviates that. And the reason that we don't do that is because then we can focus on the caller. It's not about us, it's about the caller. So it gives them that space and freedom to be able to talk about their innermost thoughts if they want to share those with us. Second thing is we don't give advice because we rely on the responsibility of the caller themselves to sort of find their way through, and hopefully we can give them a bit more clarity by talking to them, by listening to them more importantly, so that they'll find their way through. So to an extent, when you take any call, you look at it as a blank canvas, you know, so we are there to listen. We'll ask some questions here and there, but primarily we're there to give that caller a space so that they can talk. And of course we never judge, so we don't find any kind of judgments at all in the calls that we take. And it's an interesting thing, the fact that many people, when they phone first time, will say things like, well, you know, I know that you've got better or more important things to deal with than this, but we don't look at it that way, because every call to us is important. Every call has its own merits and every call has its own struggles, and we're there for everybody that needs to call. And I think it's an important factor as well to say that we're not just there for suicidal callers, which, you know, has been a misconception. We're there for everybody that's struggling.
Just tell us a little bit about your story and why you became a volunteer.
Well, I became a volunteer for Walsall and District Samaritans in the West Midlands 5 years ago. And I did that because we had a family tragedy. We had a suicide within our family. And my partner, Carolyn, has since become a spokesman and a passionate sort of advocate of making people more aware of suicide, but also aware of the families that are left behind, because they are sort of a forgotten minority, unfortunately. And we went around to do all sorts of conferences with Carolyn speaking. And at one of them in Belfast, it was such an inspirational thing that on the way back, I knew that I had to do something, and I wanted to give something back and be productive in that way. So when I got back, I found my local branch, which was Walsall and District Samaritans, and got in touch. And within 2 months, I was in training. Again, that was 5 years ago, and it's the most life-changing experience I've ever had. It's just a fantastic thing. You work with some of the most inspirational people, some people that truly, give you some incredible life skills. The training itself is such that you learn so much about yourself and about life, and it translates really well into your everyday life as well. So you don't just use it within branch, you use it everywhere that you go. So it's an amazing thing. I would urge anybody that is looking to volunteer, do it. Take that step. It's brilliant.
Oh, what a lovely thing to say. Steve, thank you very much indeed for your time and all that work that you put into it as well. Thank you so much. If you have been affected by any of the issues raised in that discussion, or from what Scarlett said as well, you can find details of organisations offering help and support on the BBC Action Line website.